Thank you so much for tuning in to Heads and Tails. I'm your host Fatih, and today we're sharing the joy of Chris Stair, who just released his game, Bow, Path of the Teal Lotus. Now it's available in stores and on Steam. The reviews are fantastic, and I met the creative director, Chris, in an art gallery, so you know it's aesthetically well designed. Our chat covered everything from games to finding your Ikigai. Chris shared his journey of being raised as a Japanese kid in America, his inspirations, and his move away from the US. But his life insights resonated deeply with me. So I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chris Stair.
Trips me out.
Why?
It's kind of like, oh shit, the last month was over. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't do everything I wanted to do that month. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. Is it like corporate? Like in corporate companies, there's always like the week before the month ends and the week when the month.
Oh no,
ends.
nothing like that. It's just like, I don't know. You set like personal goals for yourself. Okay, by next month, I'm gonna do this.
Right.
Anyway, go ahead and set up. Don't worry about it. Wait, I'm gonna refill this water.
First of the month. All right, folks. This is first of the month. July 1st, 2024. 3 days away from 4th of July. We are at Food for Thought Cafe, which was a lovely suggestion by
Food for thought.
Chris.
One of the best restaurants in Chiang Mai.
It definitely looks like it. I mean, you tell me in the comments. Oh, breaking the fourth wall. Engaging with people. That's lovely.
Like, subscribe, all that.
Are you for it or against it?
Like doing call-outs like
Yeah.
that, you have to do it. It's gonna keep you going. The audience doesn't really. They either tune it out or don't care. Like
Right.
at this point, because just everyone does it and they understand you have to do it.
They understand that you have to do it,
Yeah,
right?
I think
Okay.
it's fine.
Because in my opinion, it's like, why wouldn't anyone not do it, right? But at the same time, since everyone is doing it, doesn't everyone understand that? Can't you just like imagine like I did it and I don't have to do it? But
No,
I know
people
how to do
need.
it.
You
They
need to say it, or people just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And and oftentimes if you do it and they like it,
Yeah,
and they actually want to support you, they have no problem, and it feels good. It feels like they're supporting you.
yeah. No, with these things, when I slip my podcaster shoes on, I often forget that I'm already like a 12-year media consumer,
Right.
Like that just goes out the window so quick for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, bringing back to it, it's like, yes, it's good to remind people of what is needed. If you don't ask, no one's going to give you anything,
I've learned that a lot in my professional career. You have to do. It's called a CTA, call to action.
Yes.
If you don't do that, like you can't ever expect to grow.
Tell me a time when you suffered a lot from that.
Suffered from what in particular?
Not asking.
Not asking.
Yeah.
Well, I remember having the distinct feeling like it was very kind of slimy, smarmy, like you're trying to get something from the person.
Yeah.
But I don't know when that changed. I think there's certainly still a little bit of that feeling, and I think the reason you even brought it up is because you might feel that in the back of your head, right?
Course.
It's like, it's a little bit like, if you think about it, it could seem like it's from an ego-building purpose.
Yes.
But it's really just to remind people with short attention spans. It's a simple, practical tool. It's like they want to do it. It's just like they have a lot of going on, and if you don't ask them to do it, they're not going to do it. And at the end of the day, it's free.
Yeah.
It's like,
It doesn't take much to ask.
yeah.
Not a lot
I think
of
you're
effort.
overthinking it if you think the audience really cares about it. As long as you don't spend too much time on it, you just say, support
what's
us.
the perfect call to action?
Yeah.
True.
Exactly.
So give us a little rundown of who Chris is.
Who I am?
Yeah.
Well, I'm still figuring that out to a certain extent, right? But I'm a 34-year-old guy living in Chiang Mai, Thailand. I'm originally American. I grew up in, my mother's half Japanese, and my dad is half kind of like European mutt or whatever.
Okay.
So a mix of things. So I grew up in a cross-cultural household a little bit, and I grew up in Miami, Florida.
Shoes off?
What's that?
Shoes off?
Wait, what's that?
Shoes off?
Shoes off in the house for sure.
Shoes off.
White people are crazy with the shoes in the house.
Yeah.
Like,
they're wildin'.
it's just impractical, and it feels so good to have your shoes off.
Yes.
It's like,
why would you have your foot prisons even when you're in your house?
Yeah. I think like the world should shift to shoeless households, dude.
Yes.
It just makes so much sense.
Like it's just like the bidet. I think these two things with your feet and your butt, is just superior.
The feet and the butt, yeah. Oh, dude.
Superior.
Thailand, it's not even a bidet; it's the gun, right?
It's the gun, which
you
is
have
like,
control.
yeah.
You know.
I play around with it a lot. You know?
It's great. It's such
nice
a great
to wash
invention.
your bathroom too. You know.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a multi-purpose tool.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of my favorite things about Thailand. Like, in America, your ass ain't getting that clean.
Yeah, I know. My dad always used to talk about these foreigners, heathens, that he would play soccer with, and they would wear all these white shorts. And he was like, yeah, we knew that they were heathens because they had these like yellow fucking stains in the back
Ooh,
of their,
yeah, white shorts is a bad idea in any context.
Any context,
Yeah,
dude,
I feel the same.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Yeah.
It has a certain elegance to it, but I don't know. I would not do that.
Got you.
Black all the way.
Yeah. Smart. But once you go black, you never want to try any white.
That's true.
So you grew up in a very multicultural family, and how was experiencing Florida in that context?
It was hard. I think like I didn't have the same attachment to an identity that I see a lot of people having. They're like, and it's fine. Like people are proud to be, proud to be black, proud to be, well, maybe, proud to be like part of a culture.
Yeah.
And I never felt that. I never felt like I belonged in either group.
How about in classrooms? Were you also the guy who was friends with a lot of people, like a lot of cliques?
Oh, yeah. I grew up in Miami, which is a melting pot of different people and like backgrounds. Was I friendly? I kind of have a face that looks very. I think the term, Oh no, not approachable.
Really?
Unapproachable.
Oh, really?
Like I have resting bitch face. You know what that is?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. I try to consciously not do that, but my face just looks like I'm angry or not in a mood to be approached.
That's so funny. That's so silly.
Do
Because
you not agree with that?
No, I do not at all.
Okay.
But
I wouldn't be offended, by the way.
No. Disclaimer is that I find myself, like when you're describing how, people like to identify with a greater idea, like, I'm a Muslim, or I'm like a part of this group, or ethnicity, insert ethnicity name. I didn't feel that either. I couldn't really connect with a lot of my friends in Turkey. I think that's kind of because I lived in America for a short time when I was a kid, 5 years. It's not a short time, actually. As a kid, it's like half your life is in America.
Okay, hold on one second.
Yeah.
It's like I can't even hear you with that plane.
Oh, right. I have the headphones.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's why I can hear
That
you.
plane was just really loud. Okay. And it's better for the audio anyway if we wait.
Absolutely.
So you didn't feel the identity.
I didn't, just like Team Chris, I didn't feel attached to any sort of dogma, religion, son of my parents. Since it's easy when you don't have rich parents. It's like you don't identify with names and stuff like that. So that's why I don't feel like you have a resting bitch face, but from the onlooker's perspective might be a little different.
Yeah. I think like that led me to really kind of be very individualistic, and not necessarily in a bad way, but I always followed my own path with what I wanted to do.
Nice.
I was very anti-authority when I was a kid, and it sounds bad, but I didn't like respect people who were just because they were older than me or were in a position of authority necessarily. I always questioned like that. And I think that was a result of me just not feeling like I had a group that I could identify with. But that helped me, like, I think it was a good thing and like fostered my creativity and things like that. But I was a little bit of a smart ass, I guess is an easy way to say it. And then I also grew up in Miami, which is a very Latino community.
Sure.
Like Cubans, Colombians, Venezuelans. A lot of them, it's their ESL, which is English as a second language. So it was also hard to fit in that way.
Sure.
I did have to learn Spanish at that time, like to kind of just even function in that society.
Whoa, that much.
Yeah. So, like, I felt they had a huge in-group of, like, the Latino Spanish-speaking students, and I was, like, a kid who they weren't even sure was Asian or white, or they couldn't even understand what I was. I was like an alien to them. So I felt very kind of, we had our own little bubble of like, actually we had like an Asian crew.
Of course.
Just because there was like 4 of us and we were so different from everyone else that like, we had to stick together, you know? I don't know if that was intentional or whatever, but.
Well, I'm surprised that you say in Miami there's kind of like a South American diaspora almost,
Yeah.
You know? I think that's the natural human inclination. You just stick around with buddies, you know. If
Yeah.
it's the Asians, 4 Asians you got. It's the 4 Asians you got,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, we grew up kind of in a similar ways, so we can relate to each other a little bit better. Yeah.
And having, man, for me it was very interesting too. I lived in New York, Queens to be exact, and having like an Asian old world family and going to visit your friends' houses, like Ashley's, Tiffany's, Mark's, Mike's, the shit that they would say to their parents,
Oh, yeah.
that was so weird to me. I was like, wow, you don't get smacked? Like,
Yeah.
you can act like that and like they'll still like do things for you? Oh my God.
I think I know what you mean. And I think maybe, because you grew up Muslim, right? And I think they're probably some of the stricter parents on the scale, right? So it's like,
not too crazy. I was a good boy, but like I knew.
but if
my
you were a
limits.
bad boy, they would
I
have
knew my
they would have
limits.
laid
Yeah,
down the hammer
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah. So, yeah, I think
I knew what happened
Asian
to bad boys.
and maybe like Middle Eastern kind of, those parents are kind of
Yeah.
on the extreme end, right? And then the stereotype is, I guess, white parents are a little bit more lenient, a little bit more liberal, right? But I don't know. I don't remember a lot. Like I wasn't even really allowed to go to my friend's house, so I didn't know their parents, right? My parents were a little bit like sheltering in that way.
Smart.
Yeah. They're smart. Yeah. They're great people.
Yeah. And how? Okay, I don't need your whole life story, but I am curious about what your ties to Chiang Mai. Like, was it a friend recommendation? Did you find it on Google?
You predicted correctly. It was a friend recommendation. I came here in like 2015 for the first time and just did like a Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Cambodia, whatever. And then I was like, damn, I really need to go back there. Even, you know, at that time I wasn't even thinking about living there. Just like, I want to go back. I had a great time. There was so much more to see.
Sure.
And I also got really into travel photography at the time, so I wanted to go and test my skills or whatever. So in 2017 I went back, and at that time I met one of my, like a mutual friend of a friend. His name was Joe. He was living in Phnom Penh in Cambodia, right? And then he was a rock climber, and I also love rock climbing, so we would go rock climbing together.
Nice.
And then we just randomly came to Chiang Mai. Didn't really know too much about it. And there's a rock climbing crag like 40 minutes out that's amazing. And we just climbed there for 2 weeks, and we were having a crazy horse. Yeah. We climbed there for 2 weeks, and it was just a great time, and we were enjoying the nightlife in Chiang Mai. We're meeting cool people. And then one day he was like, you know, you could live here if you wanted to, right? And something turned on in my head, because I hadn't thought about that. I always thought I was going to live in America. You know, that was the life I was assigned, and I'm going to do my duty or whatever. But he said, oh, you know, you can like live out here, because he was living in Phnom Penh for 2 years at that time. And I'm like, yeah, you do it. There's other people I've heard of who are doing it.
Okay.
I never looked at myself, I guess, as someone who would be an expat or whatever. But I thought I owed it to myself to at least try, because there was a distinct feeling in Chiang Mai that I was in the right place at the right time. And that's a rare feeling. Like, if you
is.
ever feel like that, you should pay attention to it.
Yes.
And give it its due. So I felt like I was in the right place at the right time, and I had good vibes. At least try it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to America, did a little prep work, save some money, and then came out here. And I've been here ever since, and it's my 7th year here. So
What?
Yeah.
7 years.
Yeah, bro.
Damn.
It
Nice.
flew by too, and I still feel like it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Yeah, if not the best.
Well, because you followed that alignment of like, all right, it feels right. My head says yes. My fucking gut says yes. My heart says yes. I'm not gonna say no to this.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, it sounds to me like those pie stories you hear, like people come to pie from Sweden. It's like, you see that, bro? The sun. We do not have that in Sweden. And we come here and we stay here 7 years. It's like, I don't know, these vortexes almost, these energy vortexes.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm looking for a way to describe that feeling. I don't know if there's a word in English that quite works. That feeling of you're in the right place. You're where you're supposed to be, and it's irrefutable.
Yeah, it's a je ne sais quoi moment.
Je ne sais quoi moment, yeah. But I had that distinct feeling. It was a single moment too. It came to me as like, whoa. A lot of times in life you can feel lost. You don't know if you're on the right path. I felt like, whoa, this is absolutely where I'm supposed to be in my life right now, and I'm doing good.
Was it in like a conversation situation?
No, actually, it was at the top of I had just finished like this rock climb in Krabi, like over the beach, and I looked out.
Aonang?
No, it's Riley Beach, yeah. So I reached the top. I was looking out. There was like this stalactites hanging. You could see the horizon. Beautiful, gorgeous day. Wind blowing.
Wow.
I had just accomplished like this athletic feat that kind of gave me a rush.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm doing life right.
Yes.
And I have no question about that.
Yes.
So I've been trying to follow that feeling ever since. And I haven't had like a distinct kind of moment like that since, but it's been like a slow drip after that.
Good. That's good.
Feel good about my direction.
I sense good things about your direction too, especially with the fucking game. So let's transition into
Okay,
that
sure.
game.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because for me, it was growing up, I didn't have a lot of consoles, just to give you a little background about my gaming stuff. But, oh shit, man. I'm just imagining you like at the top of you send it, you just like look back and there's the fucking sea.
Do you rock climb?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you just said send it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, this guy knows his shit.
Yeah. Well, there might be some people that we actually know in common in town if you've been here for 7 years.
All right, cool. We can talk about that later.
Yeah. But yeah, awesome. I had some moments in my life kind of like that too, and it's either when I dress well, like when I know I'm on fleek. It's like a lot of people know I'm on fleek too. It's same with like athletic, sort of like strenuous activity, like you successfully completed something and you're like, oh, like those moments give you more of those moments, please. But games, I grew up just watching other people play their consoles in the States, especially. My parents were like, no console for you, and that was a really good choice. I would have lost a lot of time on the console.
Yeah.
But computer games, I did a lot of World of Warcraft.
Oh, you're one of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never went down that path,
Yeah.
but I could have been
Yeah.
a big World of Warcraft guy. We
But-
just didn't have money back then to buy that.
Yeah. I split one with my friend.
Oh, nice.
But my heart was always on the platform / games that you can download on your phone that was more accessible, and like the story was a little secondary after some point in my life, because enough women told me that playing games is not attractive at all.
It's true, but fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that, right?
It's true, but fuck that. Like,
Yeah.
actually, women are
joy.
becoming a lot more, and especially in Thailand too. I noticed a lot of the women like just love video games.
they
It was a
do.
culture shock for me. I'm like, you play video games, dude?
Yeah.
Like, let's get
Gamers-
married.
Yeah. Gamer people are predominant in Korea and Japan. I
Right.
suppose,
In
right?
Asia, it's way more like mainstream and not. You won't be a social pariah if you're like a gamer.
Yeah.
Like in America, it's not really respected as a hobby.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, or it's frowned upon.
It is, because there's nothing. Well, like, I guess according to the culture, if the West looks at everything as a construct and like process where in you need to have an outcome that you can show, which is tangible. In Asia, it's kind of like life is a dance, or it's like an organism. It's like the outcome isn't that important, really.
Sure, but they're also getting those outcomes too. And these guys are rock stars, these esports players. I mean, Faker, I don't know, he's like a League of Legends esports guy. He's a rock star, multi-millionaire. Like, he walks out, there's women screaming and just like fainting like he's Justin Bieber or something. And all he does is, he's really good at what he does, but he just plays a video game. Yeah. And I guess he's somewhat good looking in a way. I don't know. Okay. That probably has something to do with it.
A little bit.
I don't see it.
Yeah, so that was my little... I always kept a healthy relationship with games because I look at it as for the sake of the artist, which you mentioned yesterday when we were at the gallery. The highest form of art is producing games, and I would love you to give a few riffs on that.
Oh, I did say that yesterday, right? Like, and it sounds really, I think I said yesterday, arrogant to say that, but gaming combines so many different disciplines, everything from music, sound effects, visual arts, animation, even like the art of what people find fun and engaging. That's an art form in itself, right? Absolutely. The art of play.
Even your menu font.
Yeah. Typography, graphic design, user experience, right? It meshes all these things in a way that few other things do.
Yes.
Like movies or creating an art piece or something. So to me it seemed like, well, actually I didn't even realize at the time how much goes into it, but it seemed like a place where I could be creatively fulfilled absolutely, and push my creative limits and push myself to the furthest extent I could. So when COVID hit, I had a lot of time to think about what I would be doing for the next few years of my life, knowing that it might be an issue leaving my room because of COVID, right? Yeah. So obviously I wanted to sit down and do a computer based activity, right? Sure. And I was like, I really wanted to get into programming, get a little bit more adept at that. So I thought, what's a good application for that? Video games. And also I tend to be way more of a visual artist than or an artist brain rather than a technical brain.
Yeah.
So I thought I could exercise both pursuing like video game production. So just like looking at YouTube videos, and I bought a course too to kind of like teach game design, and that really lit a fire, like a passionate fire in me to like pursue it. So I don't know. Once I started, I could not stop. I'm just one of those guys. Like the creative ideas just kept coming, and I have to realize them. And it was a great place to funnel all of the energy. So, and the momentum got going. I certainly there were times during the development of the game where I felt so resentful that I had begun down this path a little bit too.
Because you can't not finish it.
Because it's not all fun in games, right? Sure. It's like, I have to finish it because I promised not only myself, because we also had a lot of Kickstarter backers who supported the project,
right?
And I didn't want to let them down. And the more people that found out about it, the more you feel this sense of responsibility.
Yes. To see it through.
Yeah. And it eats up a big part of your life. It could eat up your entire life if you're not careful. That focus and that where you're putting all of your attention, right? So some days I woke up resentful that I had started down this path because, I'm not free. I feel a little bit like I'm in handcuffs. I have to do this. But I don't want to get all negative. On the other side, it's been the absolute most fulfilling thing I've done creatively in my entire life. Nice. It's probably one of the biggest accomplishments that in my life so far. And I don't know. It was overall a perfect, great experience. Yeah.
Your words wear it well. I think the aura I had listening to you for the first time talk about the game and show us. And can you remind me the name?
Bow Path of the Teal Lotus.
Bow Path of the Teal Lotus.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's hard to remember, I know.
Can you, where can we find it? App Store?
It would be best to go on Steam.
Steam?
And just type BO Path. Yeah, and it'll come up.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, no, when you were talking about it, the excitement that you had and the sort of fair judgment about, okay, yeah, this is very fulfilling and awesome and fun. But there's so many moving parts that you can't love every single fucking part. Some parts are just gonna make you, like die.
Yeah.
And like that's the reality of it. Like I love to talk to this people, like we were talking about. We get to the podcast too, but like the recording bit is the most fun bit. The rest of it is just like
yeah.
That,
it's there's a core element to whatever you do that you love.
Yes.
That is.
And then you do everything else because you love the core thing so much.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow, that's a good way to put. That's exactly how I felt, right? And I think I don't know, because you find that flow in that one thing.
Yeah.
You find this flow state, and that's kind of like what we were chasing, I guess.
It's challenging enough, but it's not too easy. I think that's the prerequisite to flow.
Right. There's like kind of someone broke it down kind of scientifically before. But yeah, that's a great way.
Yeah.
Something that's pushing you to the edge of your abilities.
Yes. Because if it's too easy, then people get stagnant. I have so many friends who are really intelligent in the group of people they are, or they're really successful in the group of people they are, but they got so comfortable with those group of people, they never changed their environment and pushed themselves to another level. But whenever I see them, they're like, I'm on the hill of this king. All right, fine. Like, have fun.
But they reach the top and they're no longer challenged in what they do. But that's very key, I think, at least in my life, is always putting yourself in an uncomfortable position.
Yes.
Doing something that discomforts you once a day.
Yes.
That, has some practical use too. Don't just like stick a needle in your hand. But like do something that's uncomfortable, because that is what sets the heart ablaze. Like, and creates vitality.
Yeah. That you will have the will to get up in the morning and do everything and like get excited when you're talking to your dad about your project and stuff like that.
Yeah. And you said get up in the morning. Yeah. That's so true. Like, there are some days where I got up in the morning, I'm ready. I feel so good. And that's like, I think a sign you should look for is like you wake up no problem and like excited to do what you're doing. Yeah.
This morning, I felt very good waking up. Oh
yeah.
No.
It's that purpose. You have this.
This is what I love about.
Oh shoot.
Hold on. We're good. Yeah. The tripod broke, but I was still very exhilarated to be recording.
Okay. Yeah.
Here. And tell me about the podcast. You did mention it kind of gently.
So leading up to launch, there was like some free time because we had, if you don't know like the pipeline of making a game, there's a period before you release that you're not really doing anything because you're not allowed to touch the game anymore because it's called the gold build, which means you cannot touch it. It's locked because it has to go through all the certification processes, right? Yeah. And if you change something, they have to do the certification again. So we had a few months of downtime, and I thought like, okay, we need to switch into marketing mode now. What's a cool way? I've made a lot of good contacts in the gaming industry over the course of the game's development. So I'm like, damn, I should reach out to these people, talk to them, and like foster these relationships a little bit more. Because they're super interesting people that I consider my friends at this point. So obviously podcasting was I thought it was a great way to do it. I love listening to podcasts, and I feel
you have a great voice. I'm just listening to it right now.
Yeah, I've been told that before.
Awesome voice. I just have to quit.
Anytime I'm like playing, you want like something to put on the cord?
No, I'm gonna coil it like twice so it doesn't. There we go. There we go. No, I think I got it. Okay.
Here, you can just use that.
Ah.
Yeah, I've been told I have a good voice before. Like anytime I'm like playing a game where it has voice like, and I have a good mic too, so people are just like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
dude, are you a streamer?" or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, yeah. So podcasting was the perfect opportunity to build those relationships and strengthen them, and just have a good time, talk about games. Like, especially people who are. It's hard to find people your peers sometimes. Because game development's kind of a rare thing people pursue. So like being able to bond with those kinds of people is really fulfilling.
Yeah.
So did like a few podcasts just talking about like people's professional careers in the gaming industry and like how we can foster that in other people. So I think like our main demo is people who are either game developers or game developers or people who are interested in that subject.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's like a conversational game for people who are in the industry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
Either making a game or content creation. Yeah. In the gaming space.
It's such a crazy time we live in with content, especially, and gaming. I think it's not just like an avenue for a job. It's like a whole multi-trillion-dollar industry right now, and it seems like we're headed really fast in that direction with no change in sight.
Yeah, I think it's been said that the gaming space is already exceeding the cinema space.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Movies were like the dominant culture for decades, like a century basically. Like that was what people did for fun, is watch a movie. And it's kind of declining now for different reasons, but like gaming is, if we're talking about pure dollars, right? They're on a trajectory that is going to it's going to make movies look like no one's going to want to make a movie anymore. They're going to want to make a game.
Well, I know from my brother, I have a brother who's 13 years younger than me, and he's all about games and like all about the new gear and
shifting.
He doesn't talk about movies at all. He
Interesting.
Yeah, he never talks about movies. I don't even remember. Well, he does watch series and movies every now and then, but if they're really popular and if they're about games, sometimes they did the League of Legends movie, and he was like really excited about that. And I truly agree that there is a cultural shift towards how people entertain themselves. I think board games, just like Wii, Nintendo, whatever, like I think we're finally getting that whatever we call life is a game too. That's
we're going there.
I think we're finally getting the click, and Zach likes to believe, there's another Zach, that there might be some major catalyst event that will like give us some sort of like realization on like a global scale.
Well, we are playing a game.
Yeah.
We're playing the game of like if you're in a country with a government, they set up rules for a game that you're going to play. The prize is money. The prize is power. This system is not an inherent system in reality. It's some game. It's our forefathers wrote a rule book.
Yep.
And you're going to play this rule book. You're going to follow the laws. You're going to follow the rules. And if you follow the rules and you're a good player, we're going to give you some money, some food, and you can have a good life. But realistically, like, it's a game.
It is.
It's a very boring game sometimes. It's not a good game.
Yeah.
But it's a game that we didn't sign up to play, and we have to play. There are ways to skirt the rules sometimes, but yeah, life is a game.
It is.
And human beings are built to play games.
Yes.
And it's part of our nature.
And that's why everyone's so fascinated about it, and they want to pursue it because it's so addictive. Like all these games, because there's no end. There's no like your imagination is the limit to what you can do with money. Your imagination is the limit when it comes to what you can do with a game. So in that sense, it's I'll tell you this. I went a little too deep in the rabbit hole last night before I went to bed, and I knew it wasn't the best idea, but it was just like so tempting. So this guy just on Reddit breaks it down on how, like, he's done 10 years of research on near-death experiences.
Wow.
And all sorts of lore from the Abrahamic religions to the Eastern philosophies to
Theology.
Yeah, like everything. And he pieced together this post about how all the light people are referring to are these other entities that are kind of tricking you into, like, it's kind of like a few different layers of a system where the indoctrination happens here. It's like religion, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, whatever. And then once you die, there's these entities who are like, yes, like this is the afterlife and you must go to the light. But the light just kind of keeps you back in this fucking thing where, like, you have a grand mission this time. How the fuck are you gonna do the mission if you don't remember the mission? You know, like they wipe your fucking memory and then you come back.
So it's like a reincarnation type?
It's for sure. Like the guy's like, there's no question about that. That's definitely reincarnation. But we don't have to reincarnate. We already have that creator energy where, like, we just like forfeiting everything. It's like a farm. It's basically a farm. Like we're being harvested. We're being farmed for our attention. Every being has different needs, right? We need food. Other businesses, I call them entities too, because that's what in America we call them, right? They need money. Like you need to pump money in them so they're healthy and they grow bigger and stuff like that. And these like entities, I don't even know the names. They feed off of low vibrations. So like if you're lustful or if you're envious, if you're jealous, if you're sad, if you're so, like, that's how they get their food basically, you know?
Oh.
And we're high vibrational
they're like demons.
beings. Yeah, they're
like
I mean,
demons are a metaphor for that entity, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Demiurge.
Yeah.
Like they're stuck in between. They're not demons demons were angels before. You know that, right?
I'm thinking more like a Hollywood demon.
Oh, okay.
I'm not like too into theology, but like I'm thinking of, to be honest, I'm thinking of Demon Slayer.
Right.
And demons, or even like that animated Promised Neverland, or
okay.
The demons farm these kids, and they, the more, their fear marinates their brains or whatever. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's why I thought that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is. And I marinated on that the whole night because I was like, "Oh, enough internet for today, Fatih." And then it's just like,
that's when you know it's going a little too far. When you talk about But I love that shit too.
Yeah,
it's interesting to think about that.
Because don't you feel like you're being dragged down sometimes by friends, ideas, a certain lack of something, of a resource, or like some creativity, some. Like, I don't know, like it's always like pulling you down. Your parents pulling you down, your friends pulling you down. Not that sometimes they're pushing you up. Don't get me wrong.
Sure, yeah. It's a give and take.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I haven't felt that in a while, but I've definitely felt that throughout my life. This weight, but I've learned to kind of just like, I don't know, maybe it's my personality. It's like. And my anti-authoritative, like, I don't ask for permission to do something, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
So I never tried, I don't really even think about what's holding me back. That's probably not true in every case, but I think in general my philosophy is like, don't ask for permission to do anything. If you want to do something, don't wait for someone to tell you it's okay to do it. Don't wait for the right time, or... right, because there's literally no right time. If you want to do something, just start taking baby steps. It's going to be slow at first, but it's going to happen. Yeah.
I love that. And I think a lot of people just let themselves talk them out of situations. You know, you don't need anyone to tell you to start, but you don't need yourself to tell you to start either.
Right.
Like you should just start.
Right. People are scared, and I experienced that too.
Yeah.
People are scared all the time of waking up, even, or meeting a new friend or whatever. And I don't know, you can't foster that fear.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that really helped me with that is like doing ice baths.
You just bite the bullet and then just
right. You learn to bite. There's nothing that makes you bite the bullet harder than just saying, fuck it, I'm getting in this ice bath right now. Your mind is like, don't do it, dude. This is so stupid. Like, everything in your mind is telling you, don't do it, don't do it. It's going to be so bad. It's going to be so uncomfortable. You shut it. It's like the perfect way to just shut that part of your brain up. Yeah. And I do that once a week, like, and every single time. It's fucking difficult. But you exercise that brain, part of your brain. It gets stronger. You get more comfortable with that feeling, and you know how to control it. Because you're familiar with it.
Yeah, that's, I guess, why people...
We are right under an airport, or right next to an airport.
That's true. Chiang Mai has a lot of planes flying over it. Yeah, are we good now? I totally forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah. I was forgetting some things midway, too.
Yeah, I think what we were saying about trying... We didn't talk about this, but I think trying different things until it's like, okay, I'm scared to do this again because I know I might suck. But beyond it is just so much, everything that you ever wanted that is beyond that hard. Like, I don't really want to do it. I really don't want to do it. I really don't want to do it. I really don't want to do it. Like, you want to stay like, I really don't want to do it forever. Like, just do it and fail.
Sometimes the voice doesn't even come up as I don't want to do it. Sometimes it's like, I want to do it. But then your brain plays so many tricks on you to say, like, if you do it, you're not going to be able to follow this path. If you do it, you might end up poor. If you do it, you might fail. Like, but you want it. But you listen to those voices, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but that's like a weakness.
Yes.
Like, that's a weakness that you have to shut that part up. You say, shut up. Like, don't be afraid.
Yes.
You're never going to do anything in your life if you listen to that part of your brain. Sometimes, right, it has some good points. But you need to weigh the benefits, the cost-benefit analysis of, like, following a certain path. And, I don't know. Also, I think a lot of times people don't know what they want to do or like what their passion is. And sometimes people lie about what their passion is. I think like a lot of times when people are trying to choose their major in college, they're like, yeah, I'm going to be a lawyer, right? Because that's what society tells me to do. And like some people would make great lawyers and love it. But I think a lot of people choose that path for the wrong decision. It's like, you're trying to please someone else at that point. You're not trying to like fulfill yourself as a human being or realize yourself as a human being if you're only thinking about what's going to get me respect in society and make me a lot of money. You have to explore different avenues of your hobbies and what you like, and you have to look for that feeling, that spark of like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It's aligning with what I like to do and what I'm good at. And
what makes money.
You have to pursue that. That's my opinion.
Yes.
I've been happy.
Yes. I think you're right. To try a lot of things before you invest full on in something is super important. That's what I mean, I wish there was more of kind of like a push in schools to help people try different things. I haven't really experienced that a lot. It's just like you follow whatever works or whatever's popular or whatever, this bullshit test that they make you take kind of reflect, which can be different. And like if you take that same test 2 months later, you might answer completely differently.
That's true.
Trying things is paramount to understanding what you really
You brought up tests. I always thought it would be a great idea. I don't know if you ever took an aptitude test when you're in school, like a test that will kind of like show what you're good at, right? We never did that when I was growing up.
Really?
And I slowly kind of discovered what I was good at, right? But I feel like some people need that.
Yeah.
They need a test, assuming that the test was unimpeachable and like accurate, right? they kind of need that confidence and that little push in the right direction. It's like, oh, I didn't even realize I had a knack for this or a talent for this. Because oftentimes you don't even know. Yeah. And it could be an obscure thing too. So those kind of tests, I think, are kind of necessary for some people. They just help push people in the right direction.
Absolutely.
It could be bad news for some people who maybe thought they were good at one thing, but maybe not.
But that's like the biggest, that's what Naval always talks about, or like the power to reinvent yourself. I thought I was really good at this, and I'm in this like hair salon industry for 15 years, and I am not too bad at it, but I'm going to climb all the way. I'm just making an example.
Oh. I thought,
yeah.
I was going to ask you to like style my shit.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah.
Doesn't my hair look crappy though?
Nah.
No? Okay. I kind of experimented with it. I was like,
it's great.
Yeah, okay.
It's better than mine, dude. Nice hair. Their hairline's much better than mine.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, like you can choose to go a separate path even if you've done something for 15 years of your life, and choose that. Because I was teaching English until I started working as a salesperson / client support agent, and once I discovered this podcasting that might be interesting for me, this is by far the most fulfilled I wake up in a morning when I have like an early recording.
You found it.
Yes. Because the rest of my day is going to be amazing. I know.
That's exactly what we've been talking about, right?
Yeah.
It's like finding that, what gets you up in the morning. Yeah. And excited.
Yeah.
But it's a bad word to say excited, but there's a fire. There's a fire inside.
There's something that is kind of like pulling you towards it. It's not like you're dreading it.
Yeah.
It's like, but there are moments that you're dreading at certain aspects of whatever you're doing. And nothing is, completely
pure.
frictionless, but there is the low friction to high like pull ratio.
There's a ratio
that you can sort of like let it take you.
Yeah. And you found a good ratio.
Yeah, a really good one. I'm happy with the ratio.
That ratio feels really good, guys. Find that ratio.
Find that fucking ratio, dude.
So I'm gonna hit this real quick.
Do it. That's how you keep up with the Gen Z game folk.
Not by it's not intentional, but this is nicotine is nice.
Yes, nicotine is really good.
Don't smoke.
Do not.
Don't vape.
Seriously though, smoking is one of the, if not like cigarettes, tobacco is the perfect drug, because
it's a classic.
Yeah.
It's got years of like research under its belt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nicotine's great.
It's kind of like perfect in the sense that what a cigarette creates is a craving for another one.
It's a little devious mechanism that it's hijacking in the brain.
No.
Yeah. But there is like some benefits. I think some studies about nicotine now. Obviously, smoking it is not a good delivery system.
No.
But it can kind of increase neuroplasticity in the brain to a certain extent. And that's why you see like these writers and these creative people just like, when you think of a person who smokes cigarettes, it's kind of like eccentric artist figure, right? Hayao Miyazaki just chain smoking, right? He needs to keep those circuits like always moving around, never staying static.
But go back to what you were saying about if you're not careful about it, then it can consume your life. Look at what happened to Miyazaki.
Absolutely. To Miyazaki?
Yeah.
What happened to him?
It took over his life, the whole thing. He's like,
chain smoking?
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. No, the movie stuff.
Oh, how
like,
he's addicted to the process.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he's great.
Watch
all his documentaries.
Yes.
Like, he's an interesting guy because if you just saw him, it looks like he fucking hates what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow, I think it's part of he's just like kind of a grumpy old man sometimes. Yeah. But somehow like he feels. He was given this gift and he has some sort of duty to doing it and he cannot stop.
Kanye.
Yeah, exactly. Like he can't stop. Like,
where's my Medici? I am the artist. Where's my Medici?
Yeah, Kanye's another guy like that. Like these geniuses at this high level that have kind of surpassed what normal humans are capable of. Their brains just work in a very unknowable way.
Yes.
And it's really interesting. And yeah, he's addicted to it. But I think a lot of it is like he feels such a duty. He really cares about telling good stories that will foster a good society. So he pays a lot of attention to like the younger children. Like he doesn't give a fuck about adults or the elder generation, but he loves children and like trying to foster a good generation. Like you really see that in a lot of his works.
Yeah, it did kind of create a generation where people just like stay home and like watch his shit. But on the flip side, I understand the deeply like embedded sort of imagery and things that will like seep through as you grow old. It's like, oh, it's like the opposite of what Disney's doing.
Yeah. The stories he tells are like singular, you know, they're unlike any other animation. So people try to emulate it. It comes off very forced. The way he does slice of life and just kind of just enjoying beauty in his films without like too much pretentiousness is amazing. Yeah. My hero, one of my heroes.
I made a video about him because
like a video essay?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Dude, send it to me.
Yeah.
I've probably watched like 100 video essays on Hayao Miyazaki. Like I'm so interested in this man.
Yes. Me too, because I studied a lot. I have a literature BA. So in school,
you have a what?
Literature BA.
Okay.
So we studied some of Miyazaki's texts as well as, you know, his movies in school. So I was naturally excited when I heard that he had a movie, Boy and the Heron, and it was like in Maya. So I went there, watched the movie, and I felt so good. I bought another ticket and watched it again.
Wow.
And then I was like, okay, I need to make a video about this. Let's break it down, because I'm sure like I missed a lot of things, and like some other people might have missed a lot of other things. So it was just like,
yeah, it was a very abstract, artsy. It's his most abstract film, I think, right?
Yeah.
So the interpretation is, you could do so many different ones.
Exactly. Yeah. And I saw online there's like so many different interpretations already, and I'm like, okay, let me put my own twist to it. And that was the project, the essay that made me actually like editing. I was like dreading it before, but when I like look at Miyazaki's pictures and I was like editing different parts and like trying to overlap my voiceover on it, it was just like, whoa, dude.
Yeah, you could see what
like
that was you pushing yourself to the edge of challenge.
Yes, exactly. And it felt really good. It's one of the most watched videos on the channel. You know, publishing it felt good. Watching it again feels good still. And it's like, oh yeah, cool. This is
I feel like because you do a lot of podcast editing, it's not challenging you.
No.
Right?
No.
It's like, you know, you're editing out the pauses or whatever. It's not something that's challenging you. So when you did the Hayao Miyazaki video essay, you're like, oh shit. Yeah, you felt it again.
Yes.
But I'm sure doing the podcast editing at first was like maybe a little challenging, and it felt better in the beginning, right?
Oh my God. It took me a couple months to edit the first one. Because it was just so intimidating. And
but did you feel good about it? Like, it was a good experience, right? But now it's becoming a little bit like
monotonous.
A pain.
Yeah.
Right. That's, that lack of challenge. It really is important.
Yes, exactly. And I do feel a little bit more challenged. Like this last episode I recorded with, so it was like 3-4-way conversation almost. So I didn't have enough mics. But luckily my friend brought his DJI like the clip-ons. So I'm working with like 6 different channels from like like trying to get that one down, up, down. So that's kind of
say no
getting
more
me back
about that.
into it.
Yeah, I struggled with something similar.
Yeah.
But too technical, I won't go into it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that's the thing, because if you get too technical and if you are obsessed with something that you really like and it's your life's work and it's important to you, you can connect with other people who are also in, you know, doing different projects, but they have similar struggles, and you can bond over it. And it's not kind of like a bond where I don't like traditional way of friendship, because it seems to me like friends are people you get together on the weekend to get shit faced and then wake up on Monday morning just being like
a little empty.
Yeah. That's not friend. Like, a friend is someone that you work together with. I think that's a friend.
aligned interests and aligned goals. Those are going to be your best friends in life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like looking in the same direction together and supporting each other. Yeah, it's good. It's nice to have some drinking friends though.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
They have their place too, right? Like a friend you just like know you're going to have a fun time with.
Yes.
There's different kind of friends, but yeah, your true like core friends are those who have aligned goals and interests in their life.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I take a quick pee?
Yeah, no.
Like
go ahead.
literally 30
Go
seconds.
ahead. You're a dude. Some people want it all, someone want it all. Wow, this is becoming a good conversation, guys. What do you think? We have a minute 54. A lovely day at Food for Thought. Yeah, everything looks fantastic over here. We got the Bay's Coffee, you got the Hillcrest Apartments, and apparently Food for Thought has 2 branches. Other one is a couple kilometers away, and I've met Chris on Sunday, and it's Monday today, but I have this immense trust in his taste of food for some reason. I don't even eat food with him, but yeah, seems like a good place to just come and eat your little food and get some work done. Yes. Wow, that was literally 30 seconds.
I told you, I'm fast. I don't mess around.
Quick skills. So, in these 7 years in Chiang Mai, what were some moments that made you feel like I should go somewhere else maybe? Like it's kind of getting boring now?
I don't think I've ever felt like that.
Really?
Yeah. I've never wanted to leave.
I asked this because I recently got my 3rd or 4th month here. I got this feeling of, okay, shit's starting to feel familiar.
Oh,
Like
you're a
that
guy who
honeymoon.
craves novelty a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The honeymoon phase kind of just like came to an end. I'm so glad I have this podcast because that's all the novelty I can get, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You kind of have to find your own novelty. If you've identified a place as somewhere you feel like at home, that's the only decision you need to make. I know home is a very abstract term to a lot of people, different definitions, but it's a feeling that like I just felt at home here.
I feel like if you can be yourself, that's a good definition for me.
And maybe it just so happened that this is the place where I started to find myself a little
there
bit.
You go, yeah.
And that's maybe the only reason why I liked it. Maybe someone could come here and have like a
Terrible
very
experience.
painful, bad experience and feel completely different, even if objectively the city is pretty great. So, also, I probably should mention this about smoky season here. That's
Right.
probably the only time I ever feel like, oh, this is probably not the place that I want to end up being. But
there's enough people who are kind of like, yes, there's smoky season. It's really bad. Like, I don't want everyone here. You know? Like, then it's like, then it's another Bali situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's a great place otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that feeling of being home, and it was like a trust in this town or this city that I built, and there's no reason to really venture out.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little bit older. I think in my 20s I was very nomadic or whatever they say. Like, I want to travel here, I got to go here, I have this list, right? And then COVID kind of made me settle here. It's like, yeah, I'm kind of done with that part of my life a little bit. I still want to I'll still travel for sure.
Yeah, same.
But not in the same capacity that I did when I was in my 20s. Yeah.
Were you looking for another place to live,
No.
per se, when you moved here? You were like, no, like, I'm doing life well. If I wanted to, I can move here and live here, and that's what you did.
I was looking for a new experience. I and I didn't really make a decision. I think when anyone tries out a place, they're like, I'll stay there for a year, right? That's somehow just an arbitrary amount of time to try out a place. So I was like, yeah, I'll stay here a year. That was my whole mindset. And it's like, if after a year I want to stay longer, I'm going to stay longer. And just every year, boom, boom, boom. Of course, COVID kind of forced that.
Sure.
I could have gone back to America, but like, it wasn't any better over there.
Right.
Like, it was worse. So, and by worse, I mean just like the way the government tried to like squash people's, or just like stop life.
Yeah.
In Thailand, it was way chiller.
Way chill.
Yeah.
Everyone that I've spoken to who quarantined here, they were like, "Oh my, it was the best."
Yeah, it was pretty. I don't have the experience of being in America at the time, but like it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Like they didn't really take it too seriously, and it was fine.
Same in Turkey, we were they were like, "Don't go out and drink a beer with your friends," and we would just like run away from cops when they were like,
right,
wait, we're gonna give you a ticket, and we're like, ha ha ha, and then we just like run.
they did kind of do that here too. Bars are closed or whatever, but we just go to a friend's house.
Yeah, there we go.
It was like a different vibe. Yeah, just drink all night, and the clubs stay open. The friend's house stays open 24/7.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think Chiang Mai has a little bit for everything for everyone. Well, first, I think there's a lot of nature, hikes, trails, waterfalls, flowers, all that stuff. Two, I think because of this, there's a lot of people who assume the position of I'll walk you through your traumas, I'll heal you, I'll do a sound bath.
There's a lot of that here, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people come here for those purposes of like healing.
Yeah.
Three, it's kind of a melting pot of residents. Like the people who are from here are generally migrant from China or Laos or Burma, or like there's a Muslim community who's been here for 200 years.
Oh,
like
really?
in Changklan. Yeah, that's where.
Oh, right. There's a lot of. I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So
like a
it's
big mosque there too.
amalgamated already, so it's a better container for an amalgamated group of people to just be like here existing and sharing.
And I think you mentioned like there's a lot of healers come here, like yoga, meditation, name your healing modality.
Yes.
And that made me think, like, why do they come here? I think it's because it inherently has a little bit of a healing quality to it.
Yes.
I could never put in words what that is, but Chiang Mai, it's nestled in the mountains. The mountains kind of surround anywhere you look. And waterfalls, nature around. It has an inherent healing quality. So, like, these healers are attracted to it and, like... Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, and for me, I'm very pragmatic when it comes to travel. Like, I'm still in my 20s, but I've never really had that, I'm going to go here, I'm going to list all the countries that I've been to, 141 countries, 6 continents, you got it, baby. Like, I'll show you the world, fucking Aladdin on the carpet style. Like, no. Like, I've always been on the side of I need to spend some time in a place where before I can insert myself into situations and make connections and actually say that I've lived there rather than travel.
That's what's important about it. That's what the purpose of traveling is.
Yeah.
Not checking off a list, but
exactly.
The experiences, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely the correct method, I think.
And I've always been that way. Like, as far as I know myself, I started traveling with my parents or living in other countries with my parents in 6, and I spent most of my time in Turkey, obviously, after that. But I've kept that sort of mentality of, okay, wherever I go, I will stay for quite a bit of time. And before coming to Thailand, I was thinking of, in terms of, like, somewhere to live. And I had good friends who recommended here. But also, when I got here, I was asking... Well, the first 6 months, I just did everything that you could do in Thailand, so that when people are like, "Oh, have you done this?" and
right, yeah,
so,
all the basics, yeah.
We did that. But over here, I was asking like Japanese people, I would ask Korean people, I would ask other Thai people, I would ask all these other people, and everyone, word of mouth, Chiang Mai is like, I've been around Southeast Asia for 15 years, 20 years, 3 years, 7 years. They always say this place. So I'm like, okay. Fuck
There's
my
a pattern here, yeah.
Like, people are saying it's good. So
you got to see what it's about.
Yeah.
yeah, something special about this place that resonated with me. It's not going to resonate with everyone,
Yes.
but, you know, I think there's a majority of people who really find this place special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a majority of people who are like, what's so special about it? Like, I don't get
Yeah.
it. I run into a lot of people like that too.
Sure, yeah, actually. It doesn't jive with everyone.
Yeah.
But
They're
for
like,
the for people like us, it's like,
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah. You want to try to dissect? Like, are they builders? Are they hurt people because
Like
they
the
need
people who
healing?
don't enjoy Chiang Mai?
No, people who do enjoy Chiang Mai.
Oh,
are they hurt?
fucked up people
Yeah,
in the
fucked
head.
up,
Yeah,
exactly.
Just kidding.
Sick bastards.
Yeah, it's people who maybe are. If we're talking about expats in particular who come to live here, it's people who maybe didn't feel accepted in their home countries for whatever reason, or in their home societies, maybe. Because that was definitely my experience. I never felt like I fit in American culture, maybe, but also just in, like, you know, I talked about growing up multi-ethnic.
Right.
I never felt a family with, or a familiarity with my ethnicity,
Right.
or my religion, or whatever. So I wanted to go somewhere where I chose, and I felt like I chose this family, I chose this city, and I feel at home here. It was like my choice.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the original point I was making, but it's a good point.
Yeah.
It's like I never got to choose where I was born. I never got to
Sure.
choose my family, my friends, what language I speak, right? Like my original language, my mother tongue. But so I never felt like I owned that.
Yeah.
But coming to Chiang Mai, it's like I have ownership over my choice here,
Yes.
and therefore I can kind of dictate my life a little bit more according to what I want, not what I was given.
Full autonomy.
Yeah. And it could have been any city, I suppose, but it's just Chiang Mai's a very relaxed, kind of liberal atmosphere where you can do what you like, and just everyone, there's not like a negative energy. Crime is very low here. Just it feels like a safe place.
Yep.
People are friendly and non-judgmental. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like talking to mom about how, like, your day to day is, you might run into like a pleasant surprise, but even if you don't, it's like people who aren't in that survival. What's the right word?
Mindset?
Like mentality. Yeah, they're not like, I gotta take every penny counts. You know, it's not like that. It's more
Oh,
like,
it's not like that at all, right?
like it's sort of
Compared to
like-
other places I've seen.
Yeah.
It's very.
I don't feel like an ATM to people. Like
Yeah.
other places I've
In some
definitely-
places in Thailand, it could feel
Sure.
like that. In Chiang Mai, it's definitely not that vibe ever.
Mhm.
Everyone's so fucking chill.
Yeah.
They have this sabai. I don't know if you heard that term, sabai,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's this attitude of just like, it's almost like Taoist, right? You just let it go, you know?
I did
Easy
talk
come,
to like
easy
an
go.
anthropologist about that, and he's like, "Yeah, that's on the outside, but it's like
Oh, like anthropologist who studies Thai culture?
he is Thai."
Okay, so he has an opinion about that.
Yeah.
Sure, on the outside, but I think on the outside, if that's what, I don't know. It seemed authentic to me.
Yeah.
But maybe I haven't gone too deep into it. It's like relative, right? I
Yes.
think here it's a lot stronger than it is in America.
yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Relativity.
And it's way more
Mhm,
authentic
mhm,
than it is in
mhm,
America,
mhm,
if it
mhm.
does exist in America.
because more often than not, they mean it. You know,
Yeah.
because that's how they treat each other.
Yes. It feels very authentic to me and very salient here, whereas in America, I was like, everyone's so fucking uptight and stressed and
Mhm.
grind,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Here, it's like, do what makes you happy.
Exactly.
And love everyone.
Malaysia is also very similar in that where you make a little bit of money, you can get the Proton car, and you made it. That's pretty much it. If you have 3 good meals, and if you have a car under you, that's it. That's pretty much like the point of life. Like, not to have this like grand. You can go for that if you want. There's not like people don't frown on each other for wanting to achieve anything, but they don't frown upon each other for not wanting to achieve anything either. And I think that's a healthy society, because if like growth for growth's sake is just cancer, right? We need to cut it out.
Wow. Yeah, that's a powerful statement, and that's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people's goal in life, right, is what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to make a lot of money, right? It all leads back to that money. And I'll tell you, like, money is just not going to do it. It's not the end goal. It's the means to an end. Like, if money can help you further pursue the things we've been talking about, is like this feeling of challenge and helping other people, then that's why you should be making money. Money is not the goal.
What happened to you when you first started making money? Like, actual money?
Oh, it was great. I was like, I'm doing it. I'm successful. I'm, like, actually achieving what I want in my life. But after a while, it's like it didn't change my life in the way as I wanted my life to go.
My standards just went up. Like, when I started making real money, my standards just went up. That's literally what happened.
Sure, right? You meet the
my bracket changed. Like, now I started hanging out with some other people, and I like the inclination to keep up with the Joneses it's really hard not to.
It's like a rat race, right?
It's inherently designed that way. It's like, if you make money, you just put it back into the rat race. There's very few people who, take their money out and invest in something.
Sure.
And it's so scary to invest in something because there's 99% of investments is so bad, Like, even the people trying to take your money for their course, 99% of them are just trash. Just like 99% of the stock market is trash. Just like 99% of Bitcoin is shit coins. So that fear of the unknown, am I going to be able to get that 1% of like good luck, is what keeps people like there. Yeah,
and it's funny. Like, when I started making money, like, in the beginning, it was challenging.
Yeah.
And this goes back to what we were saying, like, and it was great. And I was like, yeah, how do we make more? How do we make more? How do we make more?
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, I don't even think I realized this, but when it stopped becoming challenging, the money was not enough to keep me going.
Yes.
So I was just like, I just stopped doing that and was like, let's start something else that's even more challenging. That's kind of how game design came.
Right.
So really what was important was that challenge. It was about the money. Like, once you have enough money or a certain amount, it's like you don't think about it anymore. So, but yeah, I what I realized is, like, my life at its core did not change at all because I had more money or less money or whatever. You think it does. There's an illusion that it does, but really, dude, like, if I was making like $100 a month, my life wouldn't really drastically change that much. I set up things in a certain way so that
you don't have to worry about it.
I don't have to worry about it as much as other people might. But if you have your friends, if you're eating some good food every day, if you have like a shower and a bed,
I think though
that's kind of like
that's the prerequisite to chase what you dream, though, because a lot of people, they're not at the point at like, follow your dreams. It's like, dude, I gotta pay rent. The fuck are you talking about? And I get that, like, completely. But once you get that sort of setup where your basic needs are met, if it's through a 9-to-5, people get smarter and smarter with how they cover their basic expenses these days. But once you have that sorted,
I think a lot of people pay for shit they don't need. And like, if you want to get into finances, it's like, man, you guys, I was never a materialistic person, right? I'll buy cool shit now that I have money, but like, I buy, like, I go shopping for clothes once every 2 years or something like that. You don't need 99.99% of the shit you're buying.
Yes.
So like, that's my first tip, is like, stop being so materialistic. Like,
7 different caps, 15 different sunglasses.
Yeah.
24
like,
shirts.
I see these younger kids like praying at the altar of Gucci or whatever, and you're like, I don't get it at all.
Yeah.
I understand it's a problem for some people and they really respect like brands and stuff, but like, for me, that's probably why I was able to make money, is that I don't have that gene in my brain that cares about that kind of thing.
Same.
And maybe I'm lucky because of that.
Same.
Right. And maybe that's why we, are financially successful to a certain extent. Like, it really helps.
Yeah, I think that's kind of.
We have a little bit of a cheat code in the money game because of that.
Totally agree, because when there are certain activities that you can do in a day that will affect the rest of your day, like sitting down for like 10 minutes and just fucking sit, like just sit down. Like see how your day changes if you just sit down for 10 minutes. Just sit down and then start your day. Or, you know, like stretch a bit in the morning. See how your blood flow changes. I think not caring about what other people think, I think that's the root cause of, you know, buying shit that you don't need. Once you eliminate that or take steps towards eliminating that to different levels in your day, your life, your finances will immediately get better.
That's an underrated thing or a piece of advice that you just gave, right?
Yeah.
Not caring what people think is very, very like beneficial to your life and making money, I suppose, playing the game of life.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's good that you mentioned that. Help me connect the dots. Yeah, don't care what people think.
And how does that apply to making games? Because I know audience comes last, but
well, I'm of the thought like that audience has as much say as the director or the creator of the artwork. I know some people really say like, I guess my philosophy is like, I'm not creating this for myself to a certain extent, but for me, it's about the challenge of creating it. If I meet that criteria, then I am fulfilled in this creative endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
But another important part of the equation is how do I make other people have a good experience and a positive experience from the piece that I created. Or even an experience where they can feel challenged in the right way. Like, how can I share that experience and extrapolate challenge to other people? That's what I really like about games, right? You're giving that, you're trying to find that fine line of where someone feels challenged and where they can exceed their expectations. I want to sow that seed as much as possible. So like, I do want to hear feedback from my community a lot, and I will cater to them to a certain extent. Like, a lot of it is noise. I'm sure in the YouTube comments you hear a lot of noise, like destructive criticism or just like non-constructive. But there are certain people, and if you're good at identifying it, that really have like a gold nugget that you can, it's like, sometimes those negative comments hurt because they're true.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, that's an uncomfortable thing to wrestle with right now, but they're right. They have a point. How can I challenge myself to improve this? Because they made that comment because they care about you. There you go. In some, to whatever degree that may be. They care about your content. They want you to do good. They cared enough to help you with whatever comment they made. So it means that you're doing something right. So listen to them. They want the best for you. But yeah, a lot of it's bullshit noise and 12-year-old kids who don't have taste. Sorry to the 12-year-olds, but like, you'll understand when you're older, okay? I know you hate hearing that, but you understand when you're older.
Check back this episode 5-10 years later and you'll understand.
Check it out, you'll understand.
I think haters is underrated though. A lot of people, like, I'll just go back. There is a place for friends. I love being silly with friends. Don't get me wrong. I'm the silliest guy. But first 30 is over. Second 30, I feel like I'm assuming this position where the undertone of silly will exist, but it has to be some sort of seriousness involved in like everything that we do for us to produce some sort of meaningful result. I think if it's all just jokes around, your friends are not going to tell you if the episode sucks. Your friends are not going to tell you if your audio levels are bad. Your friends are not going to go through ruffling feathers to give you the actual advice you need. Your haters will, or like if you get some person that hates you to work for you, like they will keep you on your toes. Like,
that's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Never even thought of or considered that.
Robert Greene, 48 Rules of Power.
48 Laws of Power, yeah.
Number 6, I think.
He hired his hater?
Well, it's like working with people that you aren't so comfortable with is a good way to work, because then you're not just like, another day at the office, you know? You're like Turkish style. Like, you go to a government office, it's 10 o'clock, people are just wrapping up with their breakfast and like starting their like cigarette after breakfast, you know? The fucking place opens at 9 o'clock. I've been waiting there for you to finish your breakfast and cigarette and then like start serving. It's like, you don't want that kind of work environment because nothing gets done. You want more of a let's do the shit first. Like, let's be super serious and then be super silly.
It's funny you bring that up. I struggle with being that guy.
Yeah.
I have to balance both. I have to balance like, hey, I'm the friendly guy who's like, hey, let's have fun, guys.
Yeah.
Like, this is a video game. We're
Yeah.
having fun. And then you have to be that stern ass corporate motherfucker who's just like, you guys,
Yeah.
I don't know what you've been doing, but we're falling behind here. You have to be paying more attention to this. You have to be serious. I hate being that guy.
My friend.
I have to though.
My friend went up to his CFO's house with a 10-kilo dumbbell or like a freaking kettlebell, and he was like, "You see this? Hold this," and he's like giving it this kettlebell to the friend, and he's like, "This is how much the money that we lost weighs."
Damn.
And he's like, "I'm trying so hard to not bash your fucking skull in right
Does
now."
he balance both, or is he just always like you have to balance both?
Yeah.
I lean towards more the motherly rather than the fatherly.
Nurturing. Yeah.
If you understand what I mean, right? The
yeah.
father,
Bad cop.
yeah, bad cop, mother, good cop, yeah. So I lean more towards a motherly energy in leading a team and directing.
Yeah.
But I got good at the fatherly shit.
Yeah.
I really don't like. That's not me.
Mm.
But it's like you have to do it.
Yeah, there's no other way.
Yeah.
Oof. I think I can do this for a long
Sure,
time.
I could do it forever. I could go longer, but I do need to like get back at like 1 in like 8 minutes. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's not because I want to stop. It's just
Yeah,
because
me
I have a
neither.
meeting
Me neither.
like at 1:15.
Okay. I'll give the last words to you.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Oh, my last words.
Yes.
Challenge yourself every day. It doesn't have to be crazy. It's just you could take baby steps. It's like always be on that line of what's challenging and kind of uncomfortable to you. And be grateful and appreciate your friends and family.
That's gold.
That's my mantra.
That's Gucci.
Oh, and if you want to check out our game, Bow Path of the Teal Lotus, go on Steam, wishlist it. It comes out July 17th.
Ooh. Okay. We gotta
Yeah.
let you go back to work then.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of chill
It's done
now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice.
But
on
yeah.
Steam, go check it out. I'll drop the socials in the descriptions. And thank you so much for doing this, Chris. I really appreciate it.
thanks so much, Fatih. Had a great time.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, everybody. See you next one.